let's talk about queue management in Landis Contact Center. Landis offers a ton of different queue configuration options so that you can make sure that your agents are being alerted the way they should, the callers are being handled the way they should, and of course, that you're getting all the metrics and reports out of the queue management that you need to. Today, we're going to look at just some of the settings and configurations that go into a queue setup and some of the different options you have. We're not going to go through each feature and each option exhaustively, but we're just going to kind of take a look at some of the options that an admin would have as they're setting up their queues and looking to put them in place. So we're going to start by navigating to the queues page. I'm going to go into this queue that I already have created. You can create a new queue, of course. Um, and we're going to look at some of the settings here. So first thing you'll notice across the top are different tabs that have different categories of settings. So you can easily find what you're looking for. On the general tab is where you'll see most of your main configuration, such as how do we want calls to be routed in this queue? Do we want to use skills-based routing? We have other options such as longest idle, round robin, parallel, etc. So you can make a selection there. Also, some settings around presence-based routing, Teams presence-based routing. Do we want it to alert to agents even if they show in another call or busy in Teams? Some of the settings here can help with that. Of course, you can easily add your agents to the queue right from Enter ID by searching their name and clicking the Add button. Down here at the bottom, we can set things like wrap-up questions. If we have wrap-up question sets created, we can apply them to this queue so that the agents will be presented with those questions when they finish a call from the queue. We can set wrap-up timers. SLAs are an important stat to apply to a queue. This is your target goal for how quickly you want the calls answered. Let's say we want to set a goal for all calls to be answered within 90 seconds. We can set that as a goal here for this queue. And then on the reporting, it'll show us what percentage of calls from the queue were answered within the target SLA. We can also set alert timeouts that would indicate how long it would present to each agent before moving on to the next. All right, so let's move on here to the messages tab. This is where you can apply a number of different greetings. First of all, you can apply a greeting that plays at the front end of the queue when a call enters the queue, a welcome message of sorts. You can add hold music. You can also add callback messages that, offering a callback message. So when they select a callback option, it plays a certain message. Now, for each one of these messages, you'll notice that you have the ability to add a prompt from a list that you might have already created. It uses Microsoft text-to-speech, so super easy to go in and make changes to the inbound greeting or to the callback message or anything like that that would immediately play into the queue. So if there is incidents or changes that need to be made, they can be made quickly. By the way, this uses the full Microsoft text-to-speech engine, which has over 200, I believe, different voices and accents. For example, English could be UK English or US or Australia, and tons of different options for you to play a greeting that sounds something like this.
Hello. Thanks for calling Landis. If you would like to receive a call back from an agent instead of waiting, please press 1.
You get the idea. All right, moving on. We can apply business hour schedules. We'll cover that in a separate video, but there's capability for easily applying business hours that would determine when calls are able to enter the queue. I want to spend just a moment on exception handling. This gives a lot of different options for how we want to treat calls once they've been in queue for a set amount of time. So for example, we can enable a queue timeout that at 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever we set it to be, calls are transferred to a voicemail or to an emergency queue or an overflow queue or a answering service, anything like that. So you see all the different options here. It can route to an IVR or a queue. We can send it out to an external PSTN. We can send it to a voicemail or, of course, an individual user. So lots of different options there. I want to also talk about the breakout options. This would be as a caller's waiting, giving them the option to leave the queue for any particular reason. We mentioned the callback option. So let's say they've been waiting for several minutes, and now we're going to offer them the option of requesting a callback instead of continuing to wait. So we can do that. We could also offer them the option to opt out of the queue for, let's say, a self-help portal or menu or being sent to voicemail or some other destination or IVR or something like that. So it allows you to control also how long into the wait time these options are offered. You could offer them right at the top of the call as they enter the queue, or you could allow them to wait on hold and only present some of these options once they've been waiting for a certain amount of time. And here you see the options for allowing them to select a callback or some other type of queue breakout. There's other integrations here that we can point out. For example, if we want call or we want a CRM integration, so agents, when they're taking calls from this queue, it could present information from a CRM, and there's lots of capabilities there. Also, webhooks that can capture data and push elsewhere. We can populate those. Um, More advanced settings. Again, we're not going to go into everything. There's more settings around outbound, call lane action roles, how it appears on the wallboard, and so on. But I just wanted to touch on some of the core queue management settings, and just really to show how easy it is to for a manager to go in, make the changes they need to. The settings are pretty self-explanatory. We also have very detailed documentation that goes along with the product. Of course, if you are looking at a setting, you're not quite sure what it does, we'd certainly be happy to help you with that. Thanks for watching. If you want more information or see a tailored demo, you can go to landistechnologies.com.